What's up, guys? It's Slay here, and welcome back to another World of Warships Legends gameplay. And today we are back in a Pan-Asian destroyer, but it's not the Tier 5 destroyer, but more of the Tier 6 tech tree destroyer, the Gajimara. And it is snowing, clearly snowing in the game. I'm just kidding, it's not snowing, but hey, why not enjoy the game with some snow in the background? Why not? But today we are in the Gajimara, and let's just say this is by far one of my favorite ships in the game so far when it comes to the Pan-Asian tech tree, of course, not overall. But the Gajimara, it is pretty much a Jervis destroyer, but it was lent to Indonesia, and the history goes on by there. Now, so Gajimara, 120 millimeter guns, you already know, and it pretty much behaves like the Jervis, but without the hydro that it has, that the Jervis has, that the Gajimara doesn't have. Now you got to remember that you cannot torp other destroyers, and I still see this pretty much being played out so many times in games so far. Is the tier 5s, tier 6, and tier 7 destroyers are trying to torp other torpedo or gunboat destroyers, and so far it's not going well for them. But Gajimara does have something special that is pretty unique, and I have mentioned this in tier 5. That is the increased chance of flooding for cruisers and battleships. On top of that, it does have 4 smokes and engine boost. Now for the special thing, it can run the radar. Now, what do you mean by running the radar? So if you change and replace the smoke generator for the radar, you won't have the smoke and you will have a radar. Now the radar is, not that bad. It's not something I personally would go with. Now, detectability of these ships with the radar is 7.5. It's a 15-second, consumable, and the reload is 171 seconds, which is, it's pretty good. Now, you only get 2 of them, so I don't know if you would do the sacrifice there of switching for 2 radars when you have 4 smokes. Now, right off the bat, we are going half health against this Japanese destroyer. Now, you gotta remember, Japanese destroyers can torp us, other destroyers can torp us, we can't torp them. Now, right off the bat, we're also going to confront the carrier, and well, that's not really good. We are health. We're up to 5,300 and going down with our fire and our engine being incapacitated along with our steering. We're going to try to smoke up in time and see if we could torp the carrier. Now, I'm also trying to torp this Bayern, because once this Bayern spots us, it's pretty much going to be game over. But gladly enough, we did get in our smoke here, and we are well protected. Now, I did send out these torps, and I was positioning them for the Bayern actually, and we do manage to sink the carrier super early in the game. It's only been like 3 minutes into the game, and we already have sank the carrier. Now we're going to try to set some fires on this Bayern, since he has, seems like he did take a torp that was vulnerable to use your damage control, so we are going to use our HE and try to set our fires now with the 120 millimeter guns here, which by far is really good. By the way, so the 120 millimeter guns on these ships are not something you would say are weak, just because they're smaller caliber guns than the other tier 6 tech tree guns. Now the 120 millimeter guns, in my opinion, actually been really effective, and towards the end you're going to see actually me citadeling a certain ship that I didn't think was possible to citadel with the amount of citadels I got. But let's just not spoil that for few moments and actually let it play out. So the Bayern's behind the island, and we're going to see if he pulls forward and sends some torps. Now, Gajimara's torps are actually pretty good. Now, I wouldn't say the best, but they're pretty decent for its tier, and that goes with 14,252 damage. Now, the reload might be a little stinky there with a 120-second reload, but it's pretty good torps. 8.7 kilometers, which with my build, 64 knots torpedoes are actually pretty good torpedo speed there. Now, the Bayern actually pulled the brakes there in time and avoid getting torp there, which pretty smart BB move right there. And I encourage that a lot of times, that before you exit an island, you pause the brakes and you make sure you pretty much finesse the shores of those torps. Now, if the Bayern were to pull up, most likely I could have been spotted. Now, my smoke has already been generated, and as you can see, the Pan Asians actually have a pretty fast reload when it comes to their smokes. Yes, their smokes are pretty good. So, here's the thing, right? Pan Asians destroyers aren't destroyers to be capping a certain objective early on in the game. Now, since this game wasn't domination, it made it more easier for me to pick a target and go with what I can do. Now, the destroyer, Japanese destroyer, was the first ship I picked, and I picked my battle and I won that one. Now, fortunately enough, I ran into the carrier and managed to, with luck, torp the living hell out of them, and they could no longer spot me. Now, that being said, that brings to our third kill of the game, which is going to be the Bayern that I just set on fire. And he is pretty much burning, along with that torp that's going his way. That's going to give us our third kill of the game. We're up to 65,027 damage, which isn't not impressive with 3 kills, but we'll take it for now. So, we're currently winning. We're currently tied, but anything could happen, and you just never know what will affect the game. Now, 379 to 354, we are winning. The Bayern did get spotted here, and I worried that another shore encounterment will definitely send me back to port. Now, the Jervis is pretty much the counterpart to the Gajimara, but, different name and etc. etc. I mentioned this earlier in the game. It has a hydro, pretty good hydro. So I'm going to actually reverse here. Reason for that is, if it does have a hydro, I don't want to confront this ship by myself. I actually want my fellow battleship to be with me so he can lend me a support. So we're gonna back up here and avoid trying to fight this Jervis. Now, I don't know if the Jervis has a quicker reload than I do. I do know my reload is 4.9. Right there you can see he is hydroing me, so gladly enough we are surrounded by this mountain, so it's not going to spot us. Right here we're going to actually send a request to support me. Now, 4.9 reload against the Jervis. I don't know if the Jervis is a faster ship. Maybe. Could be wrong there. Now we are in the concealment of each other, pretty much. Maximum concealment of each other. The moment we are spotted at 2 point. Actually, it might be 1.9 kilometers is when we're both going to get spotted. guaranteed detectability pretty much. And right here, yeah, so it's 2.1, 2.0 guaranteed detectability. Here we're going to shoot our guns here, and I believe the Bayern takes this kill. Gladly enough, we're going to say thank you because, well, I could have definitely gone wrong for this game. Not saying that I'm going to clutch this game or anything, but I am going to be a very important asset to this game. And I mentioned this so many times, destroyers are always going to be a game changer the longer they are in a game. The longer a destroyer is in a game, just know that a destroyer can change the game anytime, anywhere pretty much. We still have our other smokes. We have two more smokes actually, and we're going to save them up for a occasion later on in the game. And we're going to try to torp this Tennessee. Now, here comes a little decision making that could have cost me the game, and this is capping the base. Now, there was two ways this game could have gone, and that could have been a win or a no. And me capping the base would actually win the game. It's a little quick way to win the game, right? And I believe my Kraken greediness got the best of me, and I actually, you can actually see I'm nearby the base and trying to cap it, and that was actually my forward plan to cap the base and win the game. And the moment that these torpedoes are going to hit the Tennessee, I do get a PTSD from the Fushan's game where the carrier steals my kill. So we're up to 87,000 damage. We've been doing a pretty good game. 7 torpedo hits, 3 destroyed ships. We do have Colorado here in a British cruiser. We still have our carrier. Now, the mistake I do here is I put my faith in the Bayern to capture the base while I try to go back and support our carrier. Now, our base is getting captured. I could have easily stayed in the pathway to capturing the base and definitely have won the game. I don't know what the outcome would have been of either one, but the outcome of which one I'm going to pick is, it feels wonky for many reasons. It's a more of a you should have never won, but somehow you did. So here we're going to send a request for some support here against this tier 6 British cruiser. Here we have the tier 6 American battleship Colorado, and we're going to send torps there as this cruiser is actually thinking of gunning it down with some HE since it is pretty light armored for the HE to pin. So right here I was actually debating to see. Now I was also looking back at the Colorado to see any torps. Keep in mind that I believe the Bayern goes down here. Yep. Our Bayern that was actually capping the base here was gonna go down. We do hit the Colorado with 2 torps, and we're gonna get spotted here, and well, we're gonna smoke up here and use our HE. I could have definitely gone with AP, but I was actually worried that I couldn't pin the cruiser here, and I find out that I can penetrate this cruiser with AP, but it's later in the game. So this Colorado right here is, well, damage patrolled torpedoes and the flooding, so we're going to send some HE. I believe we get a fire right here instantly. Going to pay attention on the cruiser now since it's closest target to me. Our carrier is going to go down, and the Colorado goes down. And now it's just me and the cruiser. Now I am in a dangerous spot here. and my torpedoes ain't loading up for another 10 seconds. I'm gonna load up the AP, and I'm going to try to Citadel it. Now, I botched this torp bull rush here, and that is embarrassing, honestly. So this is dangerously going to be a close game, and yeah, we Citadeled the cruiser 4 times for a Kraken. I don't know how I managed to do that. Now, if you do go back and watch the replay, he was going to shoot his guns and send his torps out at the same time. Yes, I could have definitely capped their base, and that could have probably gave us a win. Never know. But nonetheless, 115,861 damage, 9 torp hits, 5 destroyed ships, 4 fires, 5 floodings. Top of the leaderboard was 2,723 XP. Kraken, High Caliber, Confederate, and Devastating Strike to end the game. 4 your Citadels, by the way. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Oh wait, it's not snowing anymore. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.